Alrighty, folks. Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? This is Justin Martinez, aka Jay the Sports Dude, coming to you all live from my apartment. Hopefully, you all are staying at your homes as well, practicing social distancing and staying safe. And guys, I'm here to provide y'all with a little bit of extra entertainment. That's right, folks. It is time for New Mexico State versus UTEP. Now, this is the second game of the two-game series from last season, and it's a part of our month-long journey to go back and watch every single game from New Mexico State this past season, or at least all the ones that are available here on YouTube. We did have to miss the Arizona game and the first UNM game, and other than that, I think the only other game we should miss is Washington State, and I believe that's it. I think that's all we should be missing after that, because they're also a Pac-12 team, and with the Pac-12, similar to Arizona, they have a lot of copyright claims, so it's just not worth going back and watching it. However, like I said, we are here for a good one tonight. This is the second matchup of the season. UTEP earned the first win pretty convincingly at in El Paso, and now we are back here at the Pan American Center. And I think you guys know how this one went, but I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'll just say this one came down to the very last possession and was a fantastic game. I was here covering it, obviously, since it is at home. And let's go ahead and get right into it, folks. But before I do that, I have to go over here and open it up on my phone just to make sure that everything is running well with the live stream. Because as I'm looking at my laptop right now, I don't see myself. I only see the screen of the actual game. So I need to go back and just make sure that I am in frame, all that good stuff. And then, of course, change the title, because I think right now it should still say versus George Mason, which is what we watched last night. So let's go ahead and change that right now. Versus UTEP. We'll put in parentheses, game 2. Awesome. Like I said, appreciate everybody for tuning in, guys, and we are going to get started. Now, I do have it muted just because I've had people say that they have problems hearing me over the commentators, and I've been trying to raise and lower the volume, but I just can't find a good balance. So I went ahead and I muted it. Apologies to Adam Young and company, but yep, it is a good game that we have on the docket for tonight. Aggies fresh off of a second place finish at the Cayman Islands Classics. If you guys were watching last night's stream, they fell to George Mason. However, like I said, I still feel there were a lot of positives to take away from that stretch of 3 games in 3 days. And they came out, and this, I would say, was their best performance of the season up to date. Up until this point right here, this is the best basketball they had played. So it should be fun to watch. Xavier S. Gerardo Jr., appreciate you for tuning in, by the way, says, "This is the game I loved, our student section in full swing, like always." Yeah, this was a great one to watch. Alright, as we see CJ Bobbitt with the ball in the corner. So he still is starting over Johnny McCants up until this point. I'm not sure when Johnny actually took over the starting spot. I haven't gone back and looked at it. But I think at around this point you could make the case for Johnny to be a starter, because he definitely really emerged as a good three-point threat at the Cayman Islands Classic. Now we still have a 0-0 ball game. Sean Buchanan still the starting point guard in this situation with A.J. Harris out, and Evan Gilliard was not deemed eligible until towards the end of non-conference play. Yvonne with the turnaround jumper. Didn't see a whole lot of him in that first matchup against UTEP. He had a real quiet night. So that's a big bucket early on just to get his confidence going. Now, UTEP was actually still undefeated at this point. So they were playing their best basketball, I'd say, at this point. And I think really after this game, things have started to go downhill from them. We see CJ on the right wing. Yvonne thought about it there for a second. He hit his first 3 of the season at the Cayman Islands Classic. Passed up on it there. And that's just a bad pass by Trev. Like I said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe. Um, a quick update: my streaming will be inconsistent this upcoming week because I have family in town. Tuesday through Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming, but I'll make sure to keep you guys updated on Twitter, on Facebook, on Aggie Alert, all that kind of stuff. As you see a nice backdoor cut. Great move there by Trev. Let's take another look at that one. Are they going to give us an instant replay? Can we see that one more time for the people in the back, or do I actually have to go and rewind it? We'll see after this free throw. Beautiful cut there by Trev, though, and of course Sean's going to find him, being the facilitator that he is. So we get a miss there. Let's take a quick look at that replay. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I apologize. Yeah. I mean, as you can see, Darrell Edwards doesn't even have his eye on Trev the whole way through. So Trev just makes a really smart decision to cut to the rim. Good stuff there. Sloppy defense on Edwards' part, and it cost them 3 points. I won't be pausing and going back and looking at too many plays. Kind of just whichever ones stand out to me. But I'm kind of just giving my live reaction to this game, since I remember obviously the outcome and stuff like that, but there are certain plays I don't remember. See a nice turnaround shot there by Bryson Williams, who had a fantastic game in this one. I remember that for sure. Specifically from 3-point range, which I want to say he had only had like 2 or 3 triples on the season going into this game, but he lit it up for them. So we see Sean attacking, no good. Silly with the rebound. Edwards left wing 3, no good. Aggie's going the other way. The matchup of the two Spaniards, Auricoechea and Villa. Two guys who are pretty close friends too. They were both sitting down and watching the New Mexico State and UTEP women's game at the Pan Am this season. They both were seen hanging out together. So we see Sean try to step in for the charge call there, but it will be Sully at the free throw line. Sule, if I'm pronouncing that right. 4-2 Aggies. Make that 4-3. The second free throw. We got an early sub in. This I thought was a really good move by Jans to give William McNair some more minutes for this specific matchup. I thought that the Aggies didn't really have anyone who matched up well with Bryson Williams down in the paint, and that's exactly what William McNair came in to do. I want to say I called for that in the preview article that I wrote for this, that I was saying look for William McNair to get more minutes in this one. But then, of course, the thing we weren't expecting is we weren't expecting Bryson to actually extend his range, which in that case, William McNair is not a good matchup for, because he doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with them on the perimeter. You know? So we see a good contest there, but a great finish by Sule. Yeah, I mean, I think that was just a good adjustment by Bryson on his part in this game. Is that the Aggies pretty much said, hey, we want you to beat us from 3. And he went and he did just that. Lit it up in this game. It just shows how versatile he is, too. We got a 6-4 ball game here. Aggies trailing. Jordan Lathan here to inbound. who has since transferred away from UTEP. I'm forgetting to where. I want to say Southern Miss, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. We've got Jabari Rice as the matchup here, which I think is another good matchup. Good D there. But that was another good adjustment by Jans, is that Terrell Brown was having the guard Jordan Lathan. There was a little bit of Sean Buchanan guarding him. Just two guys who don't really have the length to match up with Lathan, and I think Jabari Rice was a much better matchup. As Trev misses on the mid-range shot. Lathan attacking, finds Sule, and there'll be a foul call. I want to say Lathan had a pretty quiet game in this one after just torching the Aggies, especially from the mid-range in that first game. That's a good contest by Johnny there. Normally he struggles out there on the perimeter against guards when he gets switched up. That's something he said he's making it a focal point for this offseason, is to work on his foot speed, his perimeter defense, so he doesn't get blown by as much. But that was a good contest for a big man on Lathan there. Speaking of Johnny, he will get to the line here, or are they calling it on the floor? No, he will get to the line. Or no, it was on the floor, okay. Again, I might be a little bit lost on some of this just because I have it on mute right now, so I don't hear what the commentators are saying. Trev with the ball here. Pass gets broken up. Was looking for Jabari down low. Villa on the wing. He can shoot that three ball. I believe he had a pair of them in the first matchup. Deep three there by Sule. He struggled that this whole first half. I remember that much. Jabari in the corner. No good. Johnny with the board. Still 6-4 UTEP. It's a good pick and roll by William McNair. Goodness gracious. For those who don't know, I am talking to William McNair for episode 6 of Straight Shooter. That is going to be one of the plays that I show him, and I'm going to point out to him that I really want him to be a lot more aggressive this upcoming season. Going up strong for dunks. You saw a lot of him sort of shying away from contact when he was trying to finish in the paint last season. When he's a big dude, he needs to be really aggressive with it, as you saw in that last play. That's exactly what I think the Aggies want to see out of him this upcoming season, because they have plenty of bigs that are more mobile. They can extend their range, like Jacob Tryon, Mayan Kerr, should both of them be deemed eligible this upcoming season. So really, you're needing somebody to kind of fill that role that Yvonne had, as just a traditional bruising center down low, you know. And I think that's got to be William McNair this upcoming season. Eric Jimenez says, when does the schedule come out? We don't know. I was told last weekend that we were going to find out more information, or they were expecting to find more information about the schedule. However, as you can see, it's Sunday now. It's been a full week, and that didn't happen. So New Mexico State has been pretty slow with getting their schedules out compared to some of the other local teams nearby. You know, like with UNM already has their full schedule out. But yeah, we're pretty much just waiting. The only one we know for sure is we have the date set up for the UNM game which I put out an article. I'm blanking on the dates, but both of those are already set up. And then we know they have a non-conference game against Santa Clara on December 23rd in Vegas. But as of right now, that's all that we know. And when I was told that we'd get more information on the schedule, we're still not sure if that means the whole schedule, which I doubt it. I'd imagine it's probably just going to be a couple more non-conference games that have been set. So hopefully this week we'll find out a little bit more. We're just waiting at the moment. So we got a 6-6 ball game here. And going back to Will, we're still waiting to set up a date. I'm getting a little worried about it. Normally we like to have it already, or I like to have it already set if we see Bryson knock that down. Yeah, he was torching them from deep, which just came out of nowhere in this game. What was I saying? Going back to Will, we're still waiting to get a time and date set. But as soon as I find out, I'll send out a tweet just saying, hey, I'm going to talk to William McNair for Straight Shooter. If you guys want to ask him a question, comment below. So I'll put that on my Twitter. I'll probably put something out on Facebook and something on Aggie Alert as well. Normally I like to do that 24 hours before I talk to the players, so that way we have plenty of time for you guys to get some questions in. But I release these on Wednesday and it's already Sunday, so if I were to get a text like right now from the SID saying, hey, Will can talk it tomorrow, then I would just have to send out that tweet like right now, pretty much while I'm on the stream. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So we got an 11-6 ball game here. Screen froze up there for a little bit. That's not my laptop, that's the video for some reason doing that. Nice pump fake by Jabari and the finish. Beautiful play there. Using Edwards' momentum against them. Just blowing past them. Got ODG down low. Good contest there by Will. Also CJ caving in to help. It's a heads up play there by, I believe Hawkins is his name, or Dawkins. I think it's Nigel Hawkins. Yeah, again, I could go back and do like my research prior to all of these live streams to see Jabari with the beautiful M1 play there. Like I said, just adding strength in the off season, filling out his body. Yeah, I could go back and do research for every live stream, but I just think it's a little more authentic if I'm rewatching this with you guys. So it's kind of, we're both kind of getting our, or we're all kind of getting our memories jogged at the same time. So apologies if on some of these guys I don't remember their full names or anything like that. However, in this case with UTEP, I do know most of them just because it's the rivalry games, as opposed to like the Western New Mexico game. I didn't remember a single player's name from that one, you know. Eric Jimenez, will Tillman play the 3 or the 4, and will Williams play the 1 or the 2? So we're still waiting to see if Donnie's going to be immediately eligible. Donnie Tillman. As of right now, the only guys we know that are immediately eligible are the ones coming from JUCO. So that's CJ Roberts, Kalen Williams, and Jason King. The rest of the guys, right now, we're still waiting to find out as they get a travel call there on Johnny. But if he is immediately eligible, I'd imagine he's going to play both for sure, because those are the two positions that the Aggies don't have a lot of depth at, with Clayton Henry and Johnny McCants being really the only true small forwards and power forwards. So I'd imagine he's just going to play both off the bench, kind of similar to like what we saw with like Sean Williams last year, he kind of just played whatever guard position they needed off the bench. I think Donnie will do the same with either the 3 or the 4. Personally, I think he's a better fit at the 4 for New Mexico State because they do like to run some small ball, and Donnie's really a perfect small ball power forward because he can handle the ball so well at the 4 spot. But yeah, I think he'll split time and kind of just be whatever they need him to be depending on the players out there on the court. And what was the second part? Will Williams play the 1 or the 2? Kalen Williams. Kalen's what? 6 foot. What's he listed as? 6'3"? I think he is. I think so. I'm personally not expecting a huge role for Kalen this upcoming season since it'll be his first one on the squad. I think he'll probably play some shooting guard just because they're going to need that with Jabari Rice being the starter and not having a whole lot of options other than that because both CJ and Evan really can only play the point guard spot. So I'd imagine Kalen's going to be the guy who moves to the shooting guard spot of that trio. But yeah, I'm kind of expecting him to take a little bit of a backseat role, especially if AJ Harris is deemed eligible. And kind of just learn from guys like Evan and CJ since he's only going to be entering his sophomore year. As we get a 3-ball by Sean Buchanan, puts the Aggies on top. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm seeing for him. But both him and Tillman are going to be pretty versatile guys. So we get a charge call here. Terrell Brown, I think that's his 3rd charge that he drew of the season up until this point. So you see Sean hyping up the crowd, Jabari waving the towel. Yeah, the Aggies wanted this game. For sure, for sure. As you guys know, with the win streak against UTEP getting snapped earlier this season, they definitely did not want to get swept by their rivals because they wouldn't have heard the end of it. Kind of like what we're seeing with UNM. Let's see, Eric Jimenez, what's your way too early starting 5? With the guys that are eligible right now, it's Evan Gilliard, Jabari Rice, Clayton Henry, Johnny McCanson, William McNair. I would say a best case scenario, assuming like everybody comes back, everybody gets deemed eligible, would be AJ Harris gets an extra year and he's the starting point guard with Evan as a 6th man, Jabari Rice, probably still Clayton Henry, Johnny McCants, and then William McNair, but he'd probably compete. I think Jacob Tryon is his biggest competition at the center spot. That's like best case scenario. But from the guys currently on the court right now, it'd be Evan, Jabari, Clayton, Johnny, and Will. But yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Way too early just because so many moving pieces. We still got to see what happens. As we see Terrell with the triple, no good. Gets his own board though. Yeah, I would love to put out an article. I've talked about this before. I would love to put out an article, like actual rotation predictions, stat predictions, minute predictions, like for every player on the team. I would love to do that, but I don't want to do it right now just to find out next week that AJ Harris is eligible. Not that we're going to know next week, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I would hate to do that, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, AJ is eligible, and then that pretty much negates all of my stat predictions for the guards. Or to find out, Jaquan Scott has joined the team and is immediately eligible, and it's like, okay, well, then in that case, that's going to change the power forward position, the small forward position, There's just a lot that we don't know yet. And obviously Jaquan Scott is immediately eligible because you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But like, there's so many moving pieces right now. I think I'm gonna wait until we get a little bit more clarity on who is playing this upcoming season, and then I'll put out sort of these more prediction-based articles. Because I just don't want something to become very dated very quickly. So we got a 16-16 ball game. Johnny in the corner. Oh, gets the bounce. No, can't get it to fall. Let's see, what do we got being called here? Again, I don't have the commentators turned on so that you guys can hear me, so I apologize if sometimes I'm a little bit confused, especially when I'm answering questions. I'm not really watching the game so much, so all I just saw right now is that they stopped the game. I don't know what that was for. Jabari Rice, corner pocket, no good. (16-16) in this one. Usually the way I do this is I pull up the box score at around halftime. I don't want to do it too early. You see Johnny with the easy steal there. Goes coast to coast. Is he saying he's too small for me? Did you see Johnny right there putting his hand down? He had his hand like down to his knees. Some confidence out of Johnny there as we see Edwards getting Trev up in the air there with the pump. It's a good move. I never noticed that. Johnny telling Villa he's too small. That's my first time seeing that. Jabari this time gets the pump fake. Can't get it to go. Good board there by Yvonne. Such good patience in the paint, I think, is a really big thing for Yvonne. Because, like I said, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest. But his footwork and his patience, I think, is what really helps him hold his own against some of these bigger guys. Normally when a big man gets an offensive board like that, you're expecting him to go right back up. But I think Yvonne has to be a little bit smarter with things because of his size. And so he waits until his defender gets in the air and gets the free throws instead. Now let's see if he makes the free throws. Because like I said, early on in this season, free throws were a problem for him. He was shooting in the 50s. Gets the 1-and-1 to fall. Second one from Yvonne, got them both. He did ultimately bring up his average. I don't know if he got it to 70 after all, but he definitely brought his numbers up at the line. Good steal there by Trev. You know Terrell's pulling up for that one. Those three-pointers on the wing in transition, he's pulling up every time on those. That's one of the things I talked to him about on the first episode of Straight Shooter, is that's sort of one of his go-tos. And that pretty much Coach Jans has no problem with him pulling the trigger on the fast break on those three-pointers from the wing, really for any of the guys on the team. So it is a system that works out really well for Terrell. And we're still waiting to see what he does. When I last talked to him for Straight Shooter, he said probably the G League route is what he's leaning towards. Obviously he could go overseas if he wanted to. But just from when I talked to him, you guys can go back and see the video and hear exactly what he said, so I don't know the exact quote. But yeah, he said he'll probably still be here in the States going the G League route. So we see CJ Bobbitt putting it on the deck. Good move there. Good move by CJ. Aggie's going on a bit of a run here, 25-18. They did close out this first half really strong. I remember that much. You see Lathan with the corner three, no good. Definitely not as good of a performance as what he had in the first matchup against the Aggies. They were ready for him this time. I think they pretty much were. They're saying, "Hey, you're gonna beat us from the 3-point line or at the rim," but they weren't gonna give him that mid-range shot, which is what he torched the Aggies with in that first matchup. Edwards with the 3. Yeah, he can hit those. 25 to 18. I mean 21. Sorry. So we got a minute and change left here. Jabari driving, thriving. 6-point ball game. I'm really interested in seeing what improvements Jabari makes to his game again this offseason. Because like I said, he's somebody that I think works as hard, if not harder, than anybody else on the team for guys that are returning. He is staying in Cruces again, for those who are wondering. Like I said, he stayed last offseason to work on his game instead of going back home to Houston, Texas. So he's doing that again. He's still here. I think he went out to Houston for like a week to visit family, but that was about it. But yeah, he's still in Cruces working on his game. I'm just looking for him to get even stronger. He still has a ways to go before he reaches anything close to, NBA level. But I'm looking for that and his facilitating too. I think the Aggies are just going to need guys to sort of ease the passing burden on Evan. As much as Evan did a good job of adjusting to being the top facilitator, Trev was also a guy who was averaging close to 3 assists per night. And with him gone, I think Jabari is going to be the next guy to have to up his passing numbers. Because even guys like CJ Roberts off the bench, they can pass it, but it's very similar to Evan's game where they're primarily scorers as opposed to passers. So we got a 27-23 ball game here with 18 seconds left. I'm just pulling up the box score right now so we can see the stats at the half. So we got the last possession here. Hawkins with the basketball. They don't have first half stats. They got shooting percentages for the first half here, but that's about it. Which we can still look at. So we got 9 seconds left until we reach the midway point. So we got Jabari to inbound here. I don't know why. I feel like they got a bucket here on this last possession. Again, I don't remember much from this, like of the specifics. Sean with the 3. No, I guess they didn't get a bucket. Alrighty, we got halftime, folks. 27-23 as we see Trev coming up limping just a little bit there. Quick look at the halftime stats. Shooting percentages, let's take a look at that. UTEP was shooting 40.9% from the floor, 33.3% from behind the arc, and 100% from the line. Aggies were only shooting 36.7% from the floor and 16.7% from deep, 2 for 12, 60% from the free throw line. Yikes, I don't remember them having such bad shooting numbers there. Interesting stuff. 4-point game here in the second half. We see Trev with the ball on the wing. Yvonne, this is the guy he said was too little. Still too little. The footwork down low gets the finish. Yeah, Villa has the height on Johnny, but Johnny's got the physicality for sure. So you see a good take to the rim by Latham. Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe. We all had a good weekend. We're doing this every night at 6 p.m. Johnny down low. He's too small. Playing some bully ball down low. Johnny's shot selection is just, I think, something that goes really underrated. His shooting percentages from down low and at the three-point line were ridiculous this year. I don't remember the exact numbers, but yeah, just a really, really good shot selection out of him. And hopefully that will continue this year. He is going to get more looks, obviously, with Trev gone, with possibly AJ Harris gone and all these seniors, Yvonne gone. But yeah, he's not somebody who's just kind of putting up shots for the heck of it. He's real smart with the ball. You see Sule driving, and he'll get to the free throw line. 31-28 Aggies. With just under 18 minutes left. Yeah, this was one of those games where I really didn't have a whole lot written up until the end, just because I didn't know who was going to win the game. So these are those stressful games to cover, but they're definitely more entertaining, so I don't mind it too much. Like I said before, in terms of articles, getting stuff out to print, we like to send ours in, or we have to send our articles in no more than 5 minutes after the game's over. So it's a really tight schedule, and that's why games like these, I'm always stressing. But I don't know, you get used to it after a while, I guess. Although I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I really hope my first game back after this whole pandemic thing passes, I really hope my first game back isn't super close, because I'm probably going to be a little bit rusty in terms of writing and the pace of the game and everything. Hopefully it's just a blowout so I can already have it written by halftime. You see Johnny at the free throw line, 1 point ball game. First one's up, got it to go. I think Johnny had a case for an all-WAC team this past season. Personally, I still didn't have him on the all-WAC second team, but I think he had at least a case, and I think without a doubt this year he has a case to make the all-WAC first team alongside Jabari. As he gets ready for his redshirt senior year, last year for the Onyate alum. Yeah, in terms of guys I think could win awards this upcoming season, from the ones we know are coming back, I would probably say Jabari is more than capable of getting an all-WAC first team, because he already did that last year. Johnny, same thing. I think all-WAC first team with probably a floor of the all-WAC second team. And I think Clayton Henry could make the all-WAC defensive team for sure. Alongside Jabari Rice, I think one of them should make it. Obviously, there's not a second team for that, so there are only 5 available spots, so I think it'd be tough to put 2 of them on the same team, but I think one of them should make it. My pick would be Clayton. You see Trev finding Yvonne down low. Gets the bucket. 3-pointer there by Sule, no good. Latham with the board. But yeah, I think those are the only awards I can see the Aggies getting. I don't see somebody getting Defensive Player of the Year just because Levi from UTRGV, who won this past season, is coming back, and I expect him to get the WAC Defensive Player of the Year award. I said it before, I think New Mexico State's system makes it really hard for somebody to get the WAC Player of the Year award because it is so heavily based on usually whoever averages the most points. Obviously this season Milan averaged the second most points per game, but you get the point. I don't think the Aggies are really the type of team or the type of system that's going to run through one guy and have him be like an 18 to 20 points per game type of guy, which is what players like Terrell Brown and Milan Aqua were last year for their respective teams. So I don't see that happening. Although with Milan and Terrell gone, I don't think there has to be somebody averaging 20 a night to win. So maybe Jabari could. We'll see. Jaime Hernandez, appreciate you for tuning in, man. You're a new name, so thank you for tuning in. As you see, Vaughn get the bucket. He says, have you heard anything on Jaquan Scott? With or without him, the 4s and 5s would be competing for playing time all year, in my opinion. Yeah, I haven't heard anything on Jaquan. I know as of like a month ago, he narrowed it down to Kansas and New Mexico State, but still waiting. Still waiting. He hasn't announced it. Hasn't given any indication as to when he'll announce it. In that post, I think like a month ago, he said coming soon, decision coming soon, but obviously still haven't heard anything. So we're still waiting. But yeah, I do think that he's going to be a really big piece, especially if Donnie Tillman isn't deemed immediately eligible. Then at the power forward spot, I think they're going to be really hurting. Not going to have a lot of depth. And also, I think Jaquan could even move to the small forward spot at 6'8". I think he can handle the ball well enough. He's another guy like Tillman that is super versatile, super athletic. So that's going to definitely be a big addition if they can get him. But for right now, still waiting to hear on his decision. Still waiting to see how many scholarships the team is going to have as well. That's another thing that is kind of hinging on which of these guys are immediately eligible, because if somebody's going to have to sit out the whole season, then you might see them just be a walk-on. And then if A.J. Harris comes back, that's another scholarship spot that they can't offer to somebody else, you know what I mean? So still just a lot of moving pieces. We're kind of just waiting to see where everything falls. Which I know sucks. I know it seems like I don't have too many answers. But when you think about it, we really are pretty far away from the start of next season. So it's kind of to be expected that we have a lot of question marks right now. You see a turnover here. Two-point ball game. The Aggies have the lead. This one was close the whole way through. I don't want to spoil the final score for those who don't remember. But yeah, this one was close from start to finish. You see Sule driving. That's an easy block for Will. Sule was practically on the floor when he released that. Will just has to block it like like that pretty much. He'll take that. Yeah, like I said, I definitely think giving Will more minutes in this game was a great decision by Jan, just because he didn't get a whole lot in that first game against the Miners, and Bryson Williams just dominated Johnny McCants and Yvonne Adekoechea down low. I think he had about 17 points in the first meeting. And so in the preview for this article, I was saying, I I would expect that William McNair would get a lot more minutes just because he matches up so well. But then the thing that the Aggies weren't expecting was for Bryson Williams to extend his range. And I think he had like 3 or 4 triples in this game, which surpassed the amount of threes he had going into this game overall. So that was a really great adjustment by him personally, but still, I like the move by the Aggies to give Will more minutes, because down low, I think he definitely made Bryson work for it a lot more, and it forced him out to the three-point line, but he just happened to make him. So like at that point, you just got to tip your cap to him. You say UTEP doing a light press there before backing out of it. Trev, deep three. No good, and Villa with the board. Gets it to Lathan going the other way. Edwards. Sule's calling for it. He's wide open. Passes up on the shot, though. It's a tough matchup for CJ, but he stuck with him. Stuck with him. Good perimeter defense there. Yeah, that's another thing. I think CJ's offensive game wasn't as good as, Johnny McCants, and that's primarily the reason why Johnny ultimately got the starting spot over him. But CJ, I think you have to give the edge to him in terms of his footwork, his defense on the perimeter when it comes to guarding some of these smaller guys. And now we see him extending his range. Speaking of which, oh, they're calling it. Did they call his foot on the line, I think? No, they're calling it a 3. Because I'm seeing CJ was pointing to something there with the ref. I don't know what that was about. Is that Sule in the corner? Yes, sir. He picked it up in the second half here. He was ice cold in the first half. We got a 1-point game now, folks. The crowd for this game, I remember, was crazy too. Specifically the student section. We see yet another 3 from CJ. Do your thing then, CJ. Yeah, normally for those who follow my coverage during the season, I like to do a live stream preview of the game. It's usually like about 30 minutes before tip-off. And I just do it from the media section, which for those who don't know, the angle we're looking at the game right now is pretty much my angle for the game. I'm like in the top row looking down at this way. Yeah, like this pretty much as we're seeing it zoom out, that's exactly my angle for the game. So usually I do it up there in the media section, but I remember the student section for this one was just so crazy before the game. I actually got mic'd up and went down to the student section and did my little preview there for that. And people were amped for this one. Did not want to get swept by UTEP, as you can imagine. The team, they were, they're playing it cool, as you would imagine, in the days leading up to it. When I was talking to the team, Coach Jan specifically, saying, they're treating it like any other game, but, it's not. It's not any other game. Especially when you lose the first matchup, you don't want to get swept by your rival. I think after the game, Jans was saying, or telling me that, they really wanted this one. Which they'll say it after the game once they've won it. They won't say it leading up to the game in case they lose, But without a doubt, this is a game that they wanted their rematch. They wanted their revenge in this one. And it's the same roster. I mean, AJ and Clayton are still out. Terrell, I would say, is still not anywhere near full strength. They just played better basketball this time around. You see Sean Buchanan with the three. Guys are more familiar with their roles too. With that first matchup being the second game of the season. Um, there was a lot going on in terms of changing of roles for the team. But I think after the Cayman Islands, they got a much better sense of things. If you see Bryson Williams hitting yet another three. Dangerous. Ooh. Turnover there by Sean. $10:21 left to go. 2-point ball game. This is actually the game, you see Jordan Lathan missing on the shot. This is the game where, for those who follow my coverage, I wrote an article and it made print. I think the headline was something like, Aggies get revenge over Miners, something like that. And I forget what the issue was, but our people in print changed it to call the Aggies the Miners, which, oh my goodness. The next day was a weekend, because I think this was like a Friday or something like that. So the next day was my off day, and I just wake up and check my email, and I had like 50 emails from people telling me, hey, they're the Aggies, not the Miners. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't even know. Because I sent my story in print, but apparently the story was too long. Like the headline was too long, so it didn't fit. So they wanted to rephrase it in order to make it fit, which, design does that all the time. But apparently when they did that, they shortened New Mexico State. They wanted to shorten it to the mascot or whatever. And they went from New Mexico State to the Miners instead of the Aggies. And so I found that out by checking my email to a bunch of angry Aggies fans the next day. I went to the office, and my voice messages were just lit up. I had so many people calling, like, calling me an idiot, calling me a clown, this and that. Like, how do you not know the team you're covering? It was crazy. And I was just trying to explain to everybody, like, I really had nothing to do with it. And I'm like, oh, that's no excuse. And I'm like, I know it's no excuse, but, it's just a matter of letting you guys know where the mistake came from. Like, as a whole, the paper took 100% responsibility for it, But I think it's a matter of just transparency, letting you guys know where the mistake occurred. So yeah, that was a shitstorm. For sure. And I still have some, like, UNM fans, whenever they want to email me and, like, troll me or whatever, they'll send me that headline. And I'm just like, alright, I guess. It is what it is, man. Xavier, did it do that against UMKC? Oh, it was the UMKC game. Okay, my bad. Then it probably was the UMKC. It only happened once. Said Xavier. Then yeah, I guess it was UMKC. I'm misremembering it then. But yeah, that was bad. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was UMKC, because the headline had something to do with Terrell Brown, and I think UMKC was like his breakout game, right? But yeah, that was insane, dude. On my off day, no less. Like, I spent the whole day responding to everybody, which I didn't have to do. But I really wanted to respond to every single email and just let them know, that I know the team I'm covering. So pretty much every email I just went back and apologized to everybody. I was like, we had a problem in print, whatever, but, Yeah, I spent my whole day doing that. So that was fun. But luckily, that was the only time that happened. So I thought it was this game, but I think you're right, Xavier. I think it was the MKC. So we got a 5-point game with 8:20 left. Got the kick out there to Jordan. Sule in the corner, no good. Jabari with the ball in there running, slow it down, good call there. Didn't have the numbers there. It's a good find. I can't get it to drop, but the tip in by who else? Jabari Rice. So good at crashing the glass at his position, especially. Man, Bryson just everywhere this game. (52-47) with 7:15 left. You see Jabari attacking, little mid-range step back, rims out, tough. But he stepped out of bounds. And then Sean Buchanan, of course, pumping up the crowd. He is a man of the people, I'll give him that. Without a doubt. That's funny. Yeah, Sean Buchanan is an entertainer, man. Without a doubt. So we got an inbound here by Jabari with 7 and change left. Terrell with the ball here at the top of the yard. Gets it to CJ. Swinging it around. They're going to find. He's down low. Trev down low. And on the shot clock. Tough three. Good contest by Daryl Edwards. Props to him this whole game. Doesn't have the height advantage over Trev. But he did a good job of guarding him the whole night, honestly. Bryson, believe that was his first missed three-pointer of the whole night. Started off 3 for 3, I believe it was. Yeah, he kept them in this game. You see Johnny, that's a good cut and a good find. CJ Bobby with the bucket. Normally, I think CJ tends to linger on offense. I really wish he would move better without the basketball. But in this game, he was moving really well without the ball. Finding the open lanes, and his teammates were finding him. Got a 7-point ball game with 5:30. Layton with the ball here. Aggies did a good job on him the whole night. Daryl Edwards, they did a good job on him too. Is that an and one? Yes, sir. Let's see. Can we get a replay on that? Did CJ get his feet set in time? Guess not. Notice we haven't really gotten any replays on this video. Normally we get a couple of them. We got a free throw here to try to cut it down to 4 points, 2 possession. Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully everybody's having a great day, staying safe. Doing this every night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, although this week my streaming is going to be a little bit inconsistent just because I have family come in. They're making the 8.5-hour drive from San Antonio to Cruces. So Tuesday through Friday is when they'll be here, and I'm not going to say I'm not streaming at all, but I will keep you guys updated just on a day-to-day basis on Twitter and Facebook and all that. And if you guys subscribe and turn on post notifications, you can actually just get notified whenever I go live. But yeah, those couple days, streaming is going to be a bit inconsistent. But other than that, it is every night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So hope to see you guys continue to tune in for this, because we're just getting started. I think this is our 5th or 6th video that we've watched out of about 20. I think there's about 27 games we can go back and watch that are actually available on YouTube. So we're just getting started here. Bryson with a turnaround. Good move, so quick in his position. Now we see him at the line for 2. First one got of the fall. Second one here, got it. 2-point ball game. Let me see what the largest lead was at any point for this game. Biggest lead for New Mexico State was 7 points late in that first half, as we saw. And then early in the game, within the first couple minutes, UTEP led by 5. But pretty much was close the whole way through. UTEP wanted the sweep, and New Mexico State wanted the split. 2 teams fighting. You get a foul call here. No good there. They're going to call a foul. Now I'm thinking about that headline, Xavier. So I guess, because they did make the mistake of calling it minors. So now that I'm thinking about it, like, since you told me it was UMKC, I've been thinking about it in my head. I'm like, that's kind of pissing me off even more, because I kind of understood them making the mistake when they were playing the minors, you know? That's why I figured it was this game. But yeah, you're right. It was a game against UMKC. And our people in design just called in the minors, a team that wasn't even playing in that game. Which is just like 10 times worse. It just upsets me even more, man, the more I think about it. Wow. Yeah, you're right. It definitely was UMKC. Oh my gosh. I want to say like, hey, it happens, but it shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't. That's so bad. As we see, Vaughn missed the free throw here. 2-point ball game. .347 left. Gets that one to go. Still one possession game though with 3:47. It's a good find there. Drops it down low to ODG, but air ball is on the shot. Jabari going the other way. Got Johnny with the ball down low here. Clean contest. Darrell Edwards going the other way. Draws the foul. No, it's a charge. Traveling Queen. Gets in front of him. You see he's shaking up. Got Jabari with the ball here. 3 minutes left to go, folks. Terrell driving, no good. ODG with the ball. Yeah, the Miners had their chances down the stretch here. They got a lot of good stops. Just struggle to find the bottom of the net. We see ODG with it here. Working on Yvonne. Can't get it to fall. 2:30 left. Beautiful cut there by Jabari, but misses it. Misses the shot. It's as good of a look as you're going to get. You got a turnover there. Oh, man. Great design play there by New Mexico State to free up Jabari, but he can't finish. .201 left. Yeah, at this point, I am stressing when it comes to writing this article. Stressed out, because I don't know how it's going to end up. So we got Trev with the ball here. Great find to Johnny, but a clean block there by, is that Lathan with the block? Wow. Can we get a replay on that? No, there's just no replays in this game. Wow, man. The Miners got plenty of stops down the stretch. Just couldn't get anything going on the other end. Edwards with the ball. He's the best three-point shooter on the team. That is as good of a look as you're going to get from your best three-point shooter. Just couldn't capitalize. 107 left. Appreciate everybody for tuning in for this great game. This is a fun one to watch, both live and rewatching, because we got a jump ball. Johnny, and I believe that's Bryson diving for it. Yeah, it is. Looks like it's sticking with the Aggies though. So we got a quick timeout, but luckily they are cutting out all of that. The stoppages. Shout out to NM Aggie Athletics Archives. They provided the video for this. They provided all the videos so far. So guys, make sure to go subscribe to them. if you haven't already, they have, like I said, all but a handful of games from last season. They've got a good amount of last season's games for New Mexico State football, and then they have about, I'd say like maybe 40% of the men's basketball games from 2018 2019. Got CJ at the line here. First one, got it to fall. Oh, is this? I think this is the game where we get the nickname Free J Bobbitt. I believe so. Because he says at the free throw line it is just free money. And yes, sir, he cashes in. Xavier says Bobbitt seals it. Yeah. I believe another time also, right? He gets to the line again. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's where the nickname came from in this one. Ball staying with the Miners here. Be free throws for Sule. Yeah, and this should be CJ subbing back in again, right? Or no? Maybe not. Again, I don't remember all the details of it. I apologize, guys. Kind of just wanted to give you all my natural reaction to it. But it does look like, yeah, we are getting CJ. Okay, cool. So I'm not crazy. I was like, I feel like he hit, I think he went perfect from the line twice in a row. Not just once. Should draw the foul here. Good job breaking the press there by the big man. Another timeout by the Aggies, but they should edit that out right now. Let's see. Yep. Shout out to NM Aggie Athletics Archives. Alright, got Trev with the inbound. 3-point game with 30.6 left. Miners have time to just get a stop. Don't have to foul. No good. Jump ball. Going the Miners' way. Let's see. Where's the next game on the schedule? What do we got coming up after this? So after this one is Washington State, which, like I said, it's a Pac-12 game, and the Pac-12 is notorious for copyright claiming videos. So we're not going to be able to watch that one, unfortunately. But the game after that is a game against Denver. So we will be watching a game against Denver tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Aggies lost by 9 to Washington State, for those who remember anyway. So Denver, much better game for Aggies fans to watch. But yeah, that's going to be the plan for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Hope to see y'all there. But before that happens, we have a 1-point game, folks. Before we get out of here, we got a great game that needs to be settled here. Let's see. Barry Rice inbounding. 14.1 seconds left. Aggies do have a timeout. CJ gets trapped and gets fouled. One more trip to the line for the senior power forward out of Killeen, Texas. Which is right outside of of Austin, Texas, where I went to school. So that's why I'm looking forward to talking to CJ. I believe he grew up a Longhorns fan. I think. That's why I'm looking forward to talking to him for Straight Shooter. Whenever we get around to it, I've just been letting the players recommend each other or nominate each other for the next episode. So I don't know when we'll get to talk to CJ. The plan is to talk to everybody this off season. Guys who graduated, returning guys, incoming guys, all that stuff. We're going to spread this out for a couple months worth of content. But anyways, we got a 1-1 here for CJ. Free money. Free money, as he puts it. And then they're going to try to ice him too. I forgot about that. They're going to ice him with the timeout like he's a kicker in the NFL. Tough. I'm pulling up my article right now from this game. So once this is over, I'll go back and I'll read off a couple of quotes from this game. I believe we talked to Jans and then Bobbitt, because that's where we got the whole free money quote from. But yeah, I'll just read off the final stats from the game, and then I will read off the quotes as well. See, as they are not going to cut out the stoppages here. Looks like we got the full timeout, but that's fine because I'm still looking for this article. Which, for those who have been following these live streams, I have a problem looking up stuff here on our site. It's actually very annoying. For some reason, it's very difficult to actually search things on our site. Anyways, as we got CJ at the line for one more. There we go. New Mexico State hands UTEP first loss of the season is the headline. And the free throw is good. Icing him did not work. Still a one-possession game, though, folks. 8.8 seconds. Do I not have quotes on this article? Why don't I have quotes on this article? I don't know why there's not quotes on this article. I don't know, but we'll look at final stats. After we get this last-ditch effort by the Miners to send this one to OT. I really don't remember this last play too much. I remember the spot on the floor where they shot it, but I don't remember who shot it. I think it was Edwards or Sule. I want to say it was Edwards. Let's see. Oh, it was Bryson. And then another chance. Wow. So the Miners got 3.9 seconds left. Yeah, so this is what I remember, this spot on the field, on the court. And it's Jordan Lathan who misses the shot. The Aggies emerge with a 59-56 victory, forcing the series split, avoiding the sweep. Good stuff there. Yeah, this is a great game to go back and watch. I appreciate everybody for tuning in for it. I'm going to read off the final stats right now. Assuming this video doesn't show the interview with Chris Jans. No, it doesn't. There's only 20 seconds left. Yeah, so let me go ahead and read off these final stats here so you guys can see how it all went down. Alright, so Bryson Williams led UTEP with 27 points, 4 for 6 shooting from deep. Sule Boom, 11 points and 2 boards. Darrell Edwards with 9 points. And then Jordan Lathan, who was a double-digit scorer in that first series matchup, only 5 points and 5 boards on 2 for 6 shooting, so he did a much better job of containing him. CJ Bobbitt leading the Aggies with 14 points on 2 for 4 shooting from deep, 4 for 8 shooting from the floor, and of course a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Johnny McCants with 13 points and 6 rebounds. Jabari Rice, 10 points and 5 boards. And then Yvonne Adekoachea with 9 points and 7 rebounds. Like I said, I don't know why I can't find the quotes from this game, so I apologize. But I believe that's going to do it for us here tonight, folks. Tomorrow night, as I said, unfortunately we can't watch the Washington State game because of copyright issues with the Pac-12. However, we will be watching the game against Denver, which was after that one. And that was another good game. Another one that was up for grabs down the stretch. So please make sure to tune in for that as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you did, please leave a like. If you're still here from start to finish, you might as well like the video because clearly you enjoyed it. If you could do that, I would really appreciate it, guys. Also, if you could subscribe, turn on post notification bells. That way you guys will know every time that we go live or anytime we upload anything. Stay tuned on my Twitter and on Facebook. My Twitter is @JTheSportsDude because once I do have a time and date set up with William McNair for the most recent episode of Stray Shooter, I'll go ahead and I'll post on there and I'll say, hey, if you guys want to ask Will any questions, comment below. So make sure to keep an eye out for that because I love to have you guys engage with this Stray Shooter stuff. New episodes are released every Wednesday at 11 a.m. But I believe that is going to do it for me tonight, guys. Hopefully everybody has a great rest of their day and a great upcoming week. Hopefully everybody's staying safe, guys. I think that's going to do it. This has been Justin Martinez, a.k.a. Jay the Sports Dude, and I'm out.